Hey, let me tell you about 10 evil or crazy exes that will make you probably give up on dating forever. I'm pretty sure we've all had that one breakup where the other person doesn't feel the same way and just doesn't want to say goodbye. Everyone has their own terrible breakup stories, but yours will seem like nothing compared to these ones. Starting at number 10, missed call. Anyone that uses the famous Facebook should be more than familiar with the term Facebook stalking. Am I right? Before diving into this story, remember how the word stalker should be used. In late 2011, in Rotterdam, a 42-year-old woman was charged with stalking her ex-boyfriend. Not only did this woman send him excessive texts and emails, she called him on an average of 178 times a day. For a year, that'd be 65,000 calls. Okay, so let's just say that this woman sleeps 8 hours a day. That would mean she called almost 2 times every 10 minutes. The woman was released by the police under the conditions that she leave the man alone. Of course she left him alone, for about several hours though, before starting back where she left off. The funny part of the story though is that the man claims that they've never dated, while she claims they were dating the whole time, and the frequent calls are normal for 2 persons in a relationship. How often do you call your ex? Number 9. David Simmons. The concept of revenge porn is one that is becoming more and more popular. Revenge porn is usually shared on social media or websites aimed specifically at scornful ex-lovers. After going through a rough breakup with his girlfriend, 57-year-old David Simmons from Murfreesboro, Tennessee decided to get creative with some nudes he took of her without consent. Being Christmas time, David used Christmas cards filled with the pics and sent to all her relatives and friends. When questioned by the police, he said he knew nothing about them and that he had received one too. Eventually, he pleaded guilty and was given a suspended sentence in 2009. Number 8. My tongue. Ever felt so lonely that you just dived into a relationship? Well, this was the case for Tracy Davis and Mark Coghill. Tracy, a recovering alcoholic, was upset after receiving news that she was not pregnant, and which woman would not be upset if trying to have children for years with no luck. She asked Mark for a kiss to lift her spirits, and when he began to kiss her, she bit his tongue. Mark thought it was a joke at first, but she kept biting until the top third of Mark's tongue came off, at which point she spat it on the floor like it was nothing. Tracy called the ambulance herself and confessed to everything, yet was surprised when she was arrested. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Number 7. Boiling love. Terry Thompson and Brian Stokely are divorced, but in March 2013, he asked to move in with her as he was between jobs. Many of you might already be thinking that moving in with your ex is a bad idea. It's no surprise that Brian tried a few moves on Terry during his stay. She refused, but unfortunately, Brian didn't deal well with rejection. Terry was awakened one night to Brian pouring boiling oil on her face and then beating her with the pot. That night, he fled and ran away for months. The next time he was seen, he was found dead in the Passaic River in New Jersey in 2013. Number 6. Don't you love tattoos? Not exactly a couple in this story, but hear me out. Wayne Robinson and Dominique Fisher met drunk one night and decided to spend the entire weekend together. Now you must be thinking that this chick is crazy, but I guess there wasn't a concern for Dominique. On the third and final day, Wayne woke up to find Dominique snoring beside him in bed, which was covered in blood. Okay. Wayne quickly realized that he had huge gashes all over his arms and back, forming intricate designs and even Dominique's name. Having mixed Valium with alcohol the night before, he was completely knocked out. Wayne fled the scene and contacted the police. Dominique claimed that Wayne had requested the unusual body art. She was found guilty but did not receive any jail time, just a 2-year community order. Do you think that was an easy getaway? Number 5. Wedding invitation. An awkward question for a lucky couple about to get married is, should we invite our exes? Would you? For whatever reason, Gladys Ricard decided not to invite her ex Augustine Garcia to her wedding. Somehow, Garcia heard of the wedding and was not pleased. On the day of the wedding, he showed up at her house as they were doing the pre-wedding photos and shot his ex-girlfriend dead. He claimed that he had been intimate in the week leading up to the wedding, including that very day. This story soon fell apart. Garcia got a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 30 years, at which point he will be 79. Number 4. Tony Joe Silva. If you thought that the woman that gave the man his new tats was bad, you'd probably love to take her out for coffee after this. Peter Main broke up with his girlfriend Tony Joe Silva, who did not take kindly to being dumped. For some reason, she decided to take revenge 2 years later and spent 3 months harassing him. As well as sending him 712 emails, she called him over 1,000 times. Okay, the exact number is 1,001 calls, but that's a lot. Sylvie also egged Main's house several times and uploaded pictures to Facebook. To top it all off, she rammed his car and garage door with her truck. After being warned by the police to stay away, she returned to his house with more eggs. Number 3. Ex-soldier. When Irby Bowser snapped, he caused damage that reached far beyond his exes. A military veteran, special education teacher and professional dancer, he hunted down not one but 2 of his exes. He first went to the home of his ex-girlfriend Toya Smith, where he killed her and her 17-year-old daughter. Toya's 14-year-old son and a 17-year-old friend of the daughter were also injured. He then drove about 15 minutes to the home of his estranged wife, Zena. After throwing an explosive into the house, he shot and killed both Zena and her 28-year-old daughter. He also injured her 2 sons. Bowser finally went to trial in 2017 and was handed a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Number 2. Who needs a penis? Lieutenant Jeff Nightingale responded to the call of someone seeking medical assistance. When he arrived, Catherine Q told Nightingale that she had cut off her husband's penis and thrown it in the garbage disposal because he deserved it. You know, losing a piece of your tongue doesn't sound so bad anymore. Police found the man tied to the bed. He was rushed to the hospital along with whatever could have been recovered from the garbage disposal, but it could not be reattached. All of this because Q didn't want to sign some divorce papers. She was sentenced in 2013 for 7 years to life. And now for the number 1. Everything you've heard so far is about to sound like baby stuff compared to this. Jebediah James Stipe is a former Marine from Casper, Wyoming who wanted to cause as much pain as possible for his ex-girlfriend Sarah Kastovny. Using pictures of her, he posted 5 ads on Craigslist posing as a woman with a rape fantasy. The ad requested that respondents be aggressive and have a complete disregard for women. Overall, 161 people responded to the ads. Stipe began communicating with 26-year-old Ty Olivier McDowell, who claims that he genuinely believed he was talking to the woman in question. McDowell waited at Kastovny's house for her to come home and then raped her at gunpoint. Later, he recounted the whole scenario over email to Stipe, who was still posing as his ex. Both men received 60 years to life. McDowell had a kid and wife at the time of the attack. Oddly, he says he forgives Stipe for setting it all up. The case sparked much debate over whether McDowell should be blamed for what he did or receive the same sentence. Kastovny now gives speeches to other survivors of the sexual assault. Now you've heard 10 stories about exes, crazy exes, evil exes. Tell us about one of your crazy ex stories down in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe. Also click the little bell beside the subscribe button so you can be up to date with each of our posts.